Last weekend I was on Cape Cod. For a New Englander, that might be where it all began. But the place where once our story seemed so simple and extraordinary is now fraught with an awakening of monumental proportions. Cape Cod was built during the Ice Age and may have been visited by Vikings. Home to indigenous people for 5,000 years. 5,000! And yet, we still celebrate my own many great-grandparents stepping onto that little boulder in Plymouth and changing the narrative for a few hundred years. In a big way, Cape Cod is kind of a troublesome anchor in shifting sands. I don't think one can visit the Cape anymore without hearing the voice of Mary Oliver. She has a way of distilling experience, offering a peaceful path in our shared natural world to settle all our differences in a finely aged quietude. The broken year will make no difference, no change upon her wise and whirling heart. She knows how people always plan to live their lives and never do. She will not tell me if she cries. Welcome to Monday Morning Book Buzz. I'm Heather from the Bay County Public Library. And I'm back in Bay County today. In fact, I'm right in my backyard, although it might look like the Botanical Gardens to you if it had been left alone for quite some time. I want to talk about two wildly powerful and wickedly different books today. First up, a writer I have loved for many years, Paul Theroux. He can be irascible, not a term I use frequently or lightly, a sometimes curmudgeon who is also a remarkably sensitive and keenly observant traveler. Also, by the way, he just happens to live on Cape Cod during the summer. A great writer for a lot of years. You might remember the Great Railway Bazaar or Mosquito Coast or the Old Patagonian Express. Well, here comes On the Plain of Snakes, a Mexican journey by Paul Theroux. Welcome to Mexico as you've never seen it, unless you happen to have been living there for several hundred years. Published right now in 2021. I couldn't wait to read it. Paul Theroux drove a battered old Buick from Massachusetts to the Mexican-American border. He traversed our lower border, weaving south and north to visit the corresponding towns on either side of the border. He explores the socioeconomic disparities, the bizarre contrasts, and visits with many who work and live between the two nations, the factories, the tent cities, and the street cafes. From the border, Theroux plunges deep into the heart of Mexico. As a reader, you will experience family life, the workday, and the food firsthand, from the celebrated streets of Mexico City to the remote villages, where life goes on as it has for hundreds of years. Amazing extended visits with the leading artists, writers, and entrepreneurs in Mexico. Hands-on experience with the laborers from basket weavers to the agave harvesters. This is as real as it gets without getting in your own car, and far less dangerous. It is within the pages of this vivid travelogue you will come upon the most comprehensive and frank essay on Mexican literature ever published. So scholarly as to be a course overview at an elite university, albeit eviscerating to a few icons of Mexican literature. This is armchair traveling at its absolute best. On the Plain of Snakes by Paul Theroux. And now for something completely different, The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth. Have you read any Sally Hepworth? She kind of reels you in with an engaging narrative, and before you know it, you can't stop. At the end, you are stunned, slightly breathless, maybe even feeling a shiver. You're wondering, what else could possibly be out there that I didn't see coming? This is a great story. Fern and Rose are twin sisters, polar opposites, and as tightly connected as only twins can be. The storyline is contemporary, with romance, family dysfunction, homelessness, abuse, infertility, psychological quirks, pets, and learning disabilities. Best of all, Fern is a librarian. So half the book takes place in a library. You want the inside story? You wonder what we do all day? Here it is. But way more than a visit to the library, this is a trip in every sense of the word. Read this book if you want to kick back, relax, and get carried away. The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth. Book Club is Wednesday, May 26, 11 a.m. Be there or be square. Your choice. Wear your mask when you're supposed to. Read a book whenever you can and get outside. It's all good. I'm Heather from the library. Happy reading.